Robert Taylor continuing to work himself up, but finds himself into a very deep triangle. What is up, grappling fans? Jordan Kurtz here with the CJJC Cage. I'm joined here alongside Kathryn Paprocki. Kat, how you doing today?
I'm doing super good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We are here to give you our CJJC 27 breakout presented to you by X-Vapes. Now, this show is going to be going down at the Colorado Tattoo Convention and Expo on September 27th. It's going to be a full weekend of events going on. You're going to have everything from weigh-ins on Friday that's going down on the main stage. There's going to be show day for all the scraps going down Saturday. And if you choose to pick up yourself a festival-wide ticket, that's going to get you access to all 3 days. You can show up on Sunday. There's going to be lots of little events within the expo itself going on. They've had, at times, car shows. They've had fashion shows, little bit of talent expos from some of the local artists in the area. So there is plenty of things to come and be had as far as the expo goes. Come and check that out at the National Western. That's going to be going down September 27th. Yeah. How about we break down this card?
Let's do it. I'm excited, man. This is our fourth year at the tattoo convention. It's probably one of my favorite cards. There's so much happening. And it's the only show that I have seen coaches go and get a tattoo either after or prior or during. Or like, do the move while they're getting tattooed.
I mean, hey, there's the perfect environment to have just a crazy day of entertainment. That's the best way to put it out there. I mean, again, you have competitors where I've seen, competitors just the same. They go out there, they get a win in the cage, and then they see, all right, well, this artist booth is open right now just to commemorate the occasion and to celebrate the win. I'm going to get a little bit of ink therapy right now celebrating.
Yeah,
So I love the fact that that's something that's all in the mix. I mean, someone who I just got a tattoo the other day, and it made me feel so old. Cat, it aged me for a second, and I came to the realization I've been getting tattoos for 20 years now at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. I know I carry my age really well.
Yeah,
but,
you do.
But yeah, just the brutal, cold, sobering reality that, damn, I'm getting old.
Yeah, a few of us are actually going to get a CJJC tat. So I don't know if you are hopping in on that, but CJJC. And I think we're doing one where, because we all do jiu-jitsu, when you invert or you go upside down, it still says CJJC, which I thought was super clever and cool. So
that's a really slick design.
I know.
I love that.
I know. And it's only $10 more to get the full pass. I wanted to add in. It's only $10 more, and you can then get the Friday and Sunday. And there is so much happening. So
where can people get those tickets?
Purple Pass, purplepass.com. Again, $10 more, and come to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Make sure that you follow the CJJC Cage on Instagram. Also give us a follow on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and you will be able to catch all the action that we'll be putting out for you throughout the weekend. Now, moving along to the card here, we're going to start from the top and run it down here, just giving out a couple of matchups, and going to talk a little bit about some of them in more depth. So just running down the list of the matchups real quick, talking about the main event here, we have Jacob Barga taking on Josh Fremd. Now, this is a matchup between a couple of big boys that they're definitely going to test the tensile strength of that cage.
I'm excited, man. Every time that Josh Fremd is on, it's exciting. And then Jacob, the last time he was on our show, man, he was a dog. and he has some good grappling. So I'm excited.
Definitely. And for Jacob, it's obviously it's a big opportunity anytime these guys get the chance to face somebody who has that UFC vet
Always.
attachment to their name.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big opportunity for him. And also, as we talked about the last time that Josh competed with us, this in its own sense kind of puts pressure on Josh to go out there and perform, or anybody who has been a part of those big shows. Well, you want to be the guy who goes out there and delivers on who you are too, right? Like you
Yeah.
have a certain
Yeah.
identity, or you, by having those credentials that you have, there's certain expectation, I guess, qualitatively that come with what you bring to your performances. So I think that it just for Josh, he's got to be on his P's and Q's, and he's been training hard for this opportunity. And yeah.
I saw his interview,
Mhm.
and if you haven't seen it, check it out. Man, he seemed to address that like he's back on it. He's back in it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and one thing about Josh is he's been training with a guy named Mike Alfieri, who I've had the blessing of being able to work with Mike at times through the years. And Mike is a high level brown belt, but I also make the argument or always tell anybody who listens about Mike that Mike is a black belt level guy who has just moved around a lot over the last couple of years, whether it be East Coast, was down in Austin at B team for a while, and then back around here again. Just moved around so much that maybe necessarily hasn't been directly with one person to get that big on black belt,
Sure.
but a guy who I've seen countless times through the years that just a technical wizard, a guy who everything that I've ever seen him teach somebody works. It's just one of those guys who is a wizard, and him being in Josh's corner, along with the Night Pigeon and all the rest of the crew over there at Nova Mente. But I think that Mike is a I mean to say this in a way that might come off as some people may come off as offensive, but like I know he's gonna understand it and think of it in the right way. It's like autistic with jujitsu.
Yes.
Like he
I think
understands it in the
sometimes you
sense of
have to be.
like this man's library of like his digital hard drives or his external hard drives of
Yeah.
tutorials
Yeah.
is just endless.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to have someone who just is that in tune with your details working with you, I think is never a disadvantage when it comes to working on a specialized skill set.
Yeah. Yeah. However, that crew over there at Average, man, they are going to have him prepared,
Absolutely.
fine tuned. I think too, like when you go against Josh Frem, like you know the opportunity that's being presented, and so yeah, I think it's a great main event. Love
Has
it.
all the makings for being an entertaining matchup there in the main event. From there, we have an event within the event ourselves. We mentioned other things going on throughout the course of the weekend at the expo itself, but we had to join the party with having a little bracket inside of our show here. We have a 4-man bracket that's going down with some absolute killers.
It's a banger bracket.
I
I'm
mean,
excited.
we have Nico Radic of 10th Planet Parker, who is just a couple of days, you know, it's going to be on the 27th. So they're just a couple of days away from their infamous Leg Locktober session that they have over there at 10th Planet Parker. But you've also got Benny Roton on the card. You've got Lyles. You've got Nathan Signs. All those guys are all going to be in the bracket.
Yeah.
We've had Benny on the card, and he won our last 4-man that we did of his level. So him being in the mix, he's always going to be a live dog, no matter what.
He's actually probably my favorite out of the whole crew. He's just good. He has cardio too. He has knowledge, he has skill, he's strong. And every time we have seen him, he has just grown. I know too that he just placed third at a ADCC, which is no easy task. However, man, Nico, every time he's on our show, he's smooth and he's crafty, and he's been a black belt for a long time too. So
Yeah, I mean, you could never count out the experience and the time in the saddle that somebody like Nico Radic just had. There's also guys like Nathan Signs, who he's had a tremendous amount of advanced level competition experience. But when I look at it just on paper, if you were to ask me to go through probabilities, my evaluations, and so on and so forth, I would argue that Benny might be the most well-rounded.
I
And
agree.
all these guys have their specialties, obviously.
Absolutely.
But when you're talking about someone who kind of has a Swiss Army knife
Yeah. Yeah.
aspect to their skill set, or they're a utility person, and that if they need to wrestle, they can wrestle.
Yeah.
If they have to be the person working from underneath, they can do so.
Yeah.
If it's the leg game, they have skills there. If
Yeah.
it's what Gordon has kind of started to call this scrimmage wrestling aspect, he can do all of those things.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I think, as evidenced by being able to go out to a show like an ADCC, where there's a lot of good guys here in Colorado.
Yeah.
He went and competed against, that same concentration of all of those top guys. Well, that's everybody in the bracket.
Totally. Everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
So to go and podium that, I think, to me, gives him some momentum coming in.
Yeah. However, the boss man, Stephen Paprocki, told us we could announce that the first round, though, in this bracket is actually Benny versus Eco. That is the first match here. And then Colin and Nathan will be throwing down. So
Interesting placement on the bracket.
exciting bracket. I think
Might have some discussion on
throwing it around. But yeah, I think fireworks
that. Okay.
either way.
Well, that's
Fireworks.
that right there. Those are certainly some of the focal point moments of the card in those two aspects. But there's another huge matchup that I want to talk about before we just go and list off some of the remainders. I think that us having the opportunity to, and again, some of this is maybe my MMA background and my base coming from there, but I've also got a certain, I guess, professional attachment to this competitor, and that's Caleb Crump. Caleb Crump was the main event of the very first card that I ever did commentary. No Mercy card in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Way back when. Got plucked out of the crowd by Trevor O'Connor to do commentary. His partner no-showed that night, and
Okay.
I just happened to
He
be
grabbed
walking
you,
in
huh?
with Yusuf, and
Okay.
he recognized me and was like, okay, well, and I just, I'd been a few months into the podcast, few months into okay, well, this kid knows, okay, let's put him on the mic, throw him in there, and sink or swim and see what he does.
Yeah. Okay.
And the rest is history. It just so happened to be that Caleb Crump was on that card.
How did he do?
Did not that fight didn't go in his favor. He went
Okay.
against Eric Grant on that card.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then the first show that I ever did for Colorado Combat Club, Caleb Crump was also on that, and
Okay.
that's where he fought Kataro Cade, and he submitted Kataro Cade on that card.
Okay.
But I've just, so through the years, Caleb has been someone through a professional,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
obviously, friends from a personal, but someone who, from my very first show, I've just had that sort of competitor to broadcaster relationship,
Absolutely.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. He man, he has an impressive resume even just since June.
It's every weekend almost. it
Homie,
seems.
he got silver and gold at ADCC trials in Vegas. He went 1-1 with Connor Hewen at Grappling Industries, which is no joke. He also got silver and bronze at the Combat Sports Report Invitational, and silver at ADC Dallas. Again, all since June.
Yeah.
Which is quite the
That's an insane work rate.
quite the
and
rundown. Yeah. And he's a sweetie pie too. Also, is he still going as the peaceful warrior, or is he the conundrum now? Because I saw both, and I
I've
was
seen
like,
both
what?
nicknames,
what is
but
this?
to me, it's always, that's the peaceful warrior.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
he's
The
he's a-
conundrum. Caleb Crump.
he's like one of the few vegans in MMA who I can actually say, like, okay, like you're
Yeah.
you're a dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
you're a
yeah,
dude's dude.
Yeah. Brock, though, man, he's from 10th Planet, Denver. They're always crafty. They always have stuff happening. I don't know a lot about him, and I'm always eager. Like whenever you say okay to somebody like Caleb Crump, I'm like, I want to see who you are.
Yeah, I mean, it could go obviously one of a couple ways. Sometimes you say yes to that big name, that big opportunity, that big challenge because it is someone that excites you, or it is someone that they have some notoriety.
Sure.
But if you're not prepared to go in there against
That's a big
somebody
jump.
who has that sort of work rate, or who also, when we factor all this in, again, this is and I don't know much about Brock as far as what his background or what his experience is, but in our venue or in our format of competition, this is almost something that is tailor suited for somebody like Caleb Crump.
Absolutely.
Caleb Crump being a college wrestler,
Yeah.
an MMA fighter,
Yeah.
and then a submission grappling specialist.
Absolutely.
Well, that allows him in our cage to be able to utilize the wrestling that much more,
Yeah.
be able to use that MMA base of working off of the fence, should it be there, using positional awareness and cage control, work for some of the potential angles.
Yeah.
If you're not used to working off of the cage or within those confines, strictly a grappling specialist who's used to work in the open floor
Absolutely.
or on a stage platform
Yeah.
where you start to get to the edge, well, they bring you back.
Out of bounds. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a significant variable to have to deal with.
It's its own environment. It is. I mean, having a wall there can be so helpful to you, so harmful to you as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready.
Definitely. And just to run through a couple more of these matchups, this one right here, want to give some love to Giovanni Valles out of New Era Jiu Jitsu. I mean, he's been competing on I can't remember the last big show that he wasn't on now at this
Yes.
stage, but the guy is a professional competitor. He just comes out there, handles his business. He's a big member of their community over there at Jiu Jitsu. I know that they all speak very highly of him in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as again, he's competed both no gi as well as gi for us.
Yep.
The guy goes out there and just has a game plan that he does not deviate.
Yeah, no, he knows exactly what he wants. I definitely see this match between Giovanni and Travis as like an established purple belt versus somebody that's kind of settling into their purple belt. I've actually rolled with Travis. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty scrappy. He's strong. He knows the positions that he's going for, and he also definitely knows what positions he's staying away from. So I'm excited. I always have to put in though that like when you haven't been on our stage yet, you don't always know how your skills will come out when you're nervous or when all eyes are on you as well. So
Absolutely. I feel like that's something that any competitor within the combat sports realm is going to have to deal with,
yes.
right? Is how do you deal with the lights? And then it's more than just maybe the sense of, and I'm not trying to slight those venues of competition, but when you're going in, when you're competing in tournament style,
It's not the same.
it's not the same.
It's not the same at all.
Is there different areas of that you can argue are as intense or as draining? Sure, I'll give you some of that for sure.
Absolutely.
Especially like I'll
Absolutely.
just give the example. One year, I remember for a fight to win, Austin Jones had to go 3 matches back to back to back, just based off of one of the guys was a late show up or like missed. I can't remember, missed the call at the table, whatever, but showed up like a couple of minutes later. So
Okay.
they said, okay, well, we'll let you still have.
Yeah.
Well, that just happened to be on the heel of coming off of match. Well, that then gets him into the gold medal,
Sure.
and he goes in there and so 3 back to back. That's something that's or when you're
Absolutely.
talking about tournament and when we're only having one singular match.
Yeah.
So there, I will recognize that there are difficulties there.
Sure. Sure.
But there's also a difficulty that comes with you have one person that your mind is fixated on for however many weeks once you got the agreement.
And that person has been thinking about you
Exactly.
this whole time too.
You've gone through weigh in the face-off process.
Yeah.
You've done your warm-up in the back. You've gotten your sweat going. You hear the music hit.
Yeah.
You got to hit the curtain and that first crowd.
Yeah.
For some people, it's a and it's it. I might be nervous, I might be scared, but ready, I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
And then there's some other people who, right then and there in that moment, is
Yeah. Yeah.
let's
What am I
let's
doing?
like what am I doing? Let's
Yeah.
let's
Why am
get
I
through
here?
this, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then from there
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
abort mission. We'll go next.
Even too,
It's
like,
tough.
even if you've been on a show or a stage, but the match is even more intense or it's a higher up, that can also change it too. I mean, just the amount of pressure that can be put on you.
Absolutely.
I love the best.
I mean,
Bring it on.
there's the good old saying, pressure is a privilege, because that
It
means
is.
something is expected of you.
It's a privilege. Having pressure on you means that like it matters. And how amazing to have something that matters.
Definitely. Now let's run through some more of these matchups here, and we'll close off by giving people the itinerary for the rundown of the events. We have Ryan Ciccinelli taking on Quentin Giner. That is going to be a 225-pound match. A couple of big boys again getting after it in that one. Then this next matchup, though, I'm really excited to see, because we're going to have the Colorado debut of Vincent Bryan, and he's taken on Chance Miller, who Chance Miller has competed across multiple disciplines here on the Colorado scene. I think that this is a matchup where, Vince is he's a former D1 wrestler.
Okay.
So he brings a considerable skill set in that department there. I mean,
Yeah.
he's fast. The way that he is able to move position is really strong.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always necessarily translate when we're talking about someone who has an advanced jujitsu background.
Yeah.
Or someone who is very skilled in the submission game. Sometimes that wrestling pressure, or from guys who are not too far removed from
Yeah.
just being a pure wrestler, sometimes that allows you to run into some things too.
Oh, absolutely.
But on the flip side, where an advantage for those wrestlers is in our rule set, as we saw it worked against Bryce Mitchell in his most recent grappling competition, we can slam.
Yeah.
Slams are illegal. That is something that is available. And you're a strong wrestler.
Yeah.
You saw what happened with Cody Brundage and Zach Reese.
Yeah.
You saw what happened with Elijah Smith and that young man.
Yeah. It makes you question what you're holding on to.
You give a wrestler the opportunity to say, "Oh, I can beat you with Mother Earth."
Yeah. Bring it on,
They
gravity.
will more likely
Yes.
than not try to relish in the chance to do so.
Also, like, I love slams in our cage. Like, it rattles, everybody goes wild. And too, like,
Loud.
at the tattoo show, not everybody in the crowd understands the intricacies, so they love that, like, slamming, the banging, the rawness. So
Oh yeah,
bring it on.
love it, love it. Cameron Santos is going to be on the card.
Absolutely.
We've also got a matchup it's going to be a very stylistic clash, but I think that you're going to see a couple of young guys who are going to go out there and leave it all in the cage between Bobby Taylor and Jorge Venzer. George is much more of top game guy. Is going to favor the wrestling end of things, whereas where we've seen with Bobby loves going for the legs. He's a real bendy guy. He's long and lanky. Again, it's a styles clash for the ages. Can Bobby get to the legs? Can Jorge keep him off of the legs?
Yeah.
It has the chance to where you might see some fast and slick scrambles, but there is also the chance to, because of their stylistic differences, you might see some stalemate aspects of this matchup.
Sure.
And I will give you a comparable of a high level matchup that had this same sort of dynamic that we had in our cage a few shows back, and that was Cody Brundage and Donald Rosen. And it's just it's from a stylistic standpoint. If you're the wrestler and you're strong in your hips, well, I'm gonna sit.
Is George also training MMA?
He's working trying to become.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's in the process of trying to get on the team. He's been working his butt off in classes, going to open classes, doing wrestling all the time with Cody and with his crew. He's been doing privates with guys like Jason Mullen, trying to work on some of the tuned aspects of his game. So he's been trying to be as much of a well-versed martial.
Yeah, I feel like when you do MMA, like you get advantage because people can go for your ankles, heels from your very first fight. And so oftentimes, like, you know how to handle that. Even if you're brand new, you understand like that sprawling and that heaviness. Interesting.
And when I brought, asked him about that, like, hey, what do you think about the matchup? And his just thoughts were like, hey, like I know what he wants. He
Yeah.
said, like,
Yeah.
I've done my research. Said I obviously I have a healthy respect for what he brings to the table, but at the same time, I also like what I bring.
Yeah.
So and I
It's a
think that
great
he's
attitude to have. Like, hey man,
and
cool.
he's taken it from the experience perspective of, you
Yeah.
know what, like if I want to be where my goals put me,
Yeah.
I need to test myself.
Yeah, you have to.
I need to put myself into these uncomfortable environments or into these scenarios that are going to test me, going to make me happy, going to make me have to see, all right, where are the vulnerabilities? What do I need?
Yeah. Good.
Because it's also easy at times to have blinders, especially early in your development if you aren't seeing
It sure
live
feels
looks.
better when you have blinders on
It
for your
feels better when you
ego.
have it feels better for your ego, but
But
that's one
down the
thing that I
road, you get murked and you're like, what happened?
certainly. And just knowing Jorge and just kind of knowing his personal story
Yeah.
and kind of the trials and tribulations that he's gone through in life, I think that when you've gone through a certain level of hardship in life, it almost allows you to self from some of that ego
Yeah, sure.
to where you can say, all right, well, life is already knocked me down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can I build myself back up and grow?
Sure.
He's that kid who's asking for hot dog. At times is walking off the mats bloody and busted up, but he's
It's the
like,
only way to grow.
I I did something wrong there.
Yeah.
I That was my mistake. He always owns that. That's one thing that I love about him. He is such an authentic kid and he takes ownership of his own training,
Absolutely.
which a lot of times you don't necessarily see from someone who was so early in the game, which
Yeah.
for better or for worse, hopefully that bodes well for him in the long.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Exciting.
And on the flip side, Bobby Taylor is a tremendous competitor. He goes out
He's
there
always
and
down too.
he's as down as it gets.
And he's getting smaller.
And
He's getting into his actual class where he's actually in the right size and his skill can show through.
right.
Yeah.
And him just being young, I think that we will see evolutions of growth with Bobby as time comes along.
Sure.
Just because what we mentioned with the last show, it seems like he's starting to work on those aspects of like the strength and conditioning, because where he's gotten beat in some of his previous matchups has been just simply he's gone up against stronger guys.
Yeah, size, man. It
Right.
matters. There is a reason. We have weight classes.
And in somewhere it's even an equitable size, like in terms of the actual like dimensions on the per your tail of the tape, similar size, weight, whatever that it may be, but there was a noticeable strength difference.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. If like they may have both been sitting there at 148 pounds hydrated, whatever, just for example's sake on the number end of things. But when it came down to just for example's sake, for the war, well, one person was
Sure.
very definitely.
Sure. Well, I can weigh 125, but that doesn't mean I'm the same size or strength as
Right.
somebody coming down to 125 either.
Right, exactly. So there were just some things in that sense that I think that are going to continue to grow and evolve for Bobby. And I just love the always wanting to.
Sure. Yeah.
Then you have a matchup between Brett Bunkston and Josh Rangel. That's a 165-pound match. Both of those guys are going to go in and get after it.
Absolutely.
Two vets, two guys who have a lot of experience throughout the years. I expect to see those guys go out there and leave it all in there. Somebody's going to be trying to snatch some. It's going to be fun for the fans.
Yeah, and I always have great things to say about competitors that come out of Catalyst. Josh, man, like the kind of camp. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Definitely. You have Gerardo Tenorio taking on Jeremiah Sperling. Sperling has been in a variety of our last few shows, whether it be in a pure grappling setting or in grapple games.
Yeah.
Again, another guy who is active and is hungry to continue to grow and climb his way up the charts.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to excuse me, him back in there, but he's also got a tough test respectively in that sense. This next matchup, though, got an interesting dynamic here.
So yes, yes. So Samson Yang is at our gym over there at the CO. And he's going against a newbie that I think kind of nobody knows anything about. He's young. He's not trained much. His name is Nathan Martinez. And I'm sitting up front one day, and Nathan comes in, and he's telling me about a match he has. Not knowing that my husband and I own CJJC, but also not knowing that his opponent trains in our gym. And they became best friends immediately. They've been training together. Obviously, now that we are closer to the match, they're not rolling together, but they're training side by side, which I love because not many people are able to train with or around people that they are competing. I've heard the like, oh, I can't go against him because I've trained with him or I rolled. As a ultimate fighter competitor, I've sat and ate breakfast with the people that I'm fighting. So I love that. I think that is so awesome, so cool. So they are both competing and training together.
And you had to obviously go and one up the stakes right there by throughout the tough creds, but then also though, I mean
you have to. Hey,
very deservingly so. But
zoom on in there, Steven. Zoom on in.
But it is also though, I do feel like being fair in the process, I think it's a lot easier to grapple somebody that you've trained with
100%.
than it is somebody that it is to go on into a full contact MMA fight.
I agree.
Because there's just a total different intensity of violence that goes into a fight as opposed to grapple.
However, I do want to make it clear that I would fight anybody that I train with and friends with. So
I mean, you just gotta throw that out.
Just so we all know.
But yeah, like I say, I think that in that sense, it's but I do feel like maybe it's a little bit more prevalent in grappling where it happens.
Absolutely.
Or I've seen it many a times in like a tournament weekend where you especially in the lower belts where
like hop on in there, man.
Well, you have some, especially some of these bigger schools where you might be bringing 5 or 6 guys in a range of that common weight class of how many guys in a bigger gym are going to go at 150 to like 175 range.
Again, though, a tournament is different. It is different.
Right. But that's what I say, like you're still, you're still competing with somebody. But it is different when you got to go train with them.
However, they are both sweethearts.
And then moving from there, the next matchup that we have Marco Moreno is going to be taking on Caden Ashby. That's a 140-pound matchup. We've also got a matchup between Langdon, taking on Japhet Garcia. That's a 170-pound match. And then we've got a matchup coming from a couple of guys who, I'll let you share.
So, this match is Vinicio Rangel from Pogos, and he's coming off of a pretty big win on CJJC 26. And then Jesse Fabiano from New Era, who's also coming off of a pretty big win. I picked this as like my match to watch. I know it's early on the card, but I would come early. These are 2 young men that are just incredible for their age. Their skill it amazes me, and they are hungry still. Like they are hungry for this win. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that the skill level that these 2 young men have as teenagers,
amazing.
There are grown men who have tried to pursue this for years who cannot do the things that these guys can already do as teenagers.
Yeah.
And what that means for the future, what that means for old guys like me, we gotta get the hell out while we can. But
Yeah.
there's, the effortless transition from position to position and working from different attack and defense scrambles that both of these guys had in their matches.
Yeah.
I
It's incredible.
I teach adults.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I can't get them to understand some of these
Yeah.
concepts that these guys are just
And like angles,
closing
just
their eyes and being able to do
amazing.
no problem and just instinctively like have from the offensive side thinking next position or how do I win and how do I beat them for this next inch.
Yeah.
Where I think where so many jujitsu people early on, guys and girls regardless, you get caught up in wanting to do big moves.
Yes.
You get caught up in wanting to have these big actions. Whereas so much of the game, or as you scale up in competition, it's the inches.
Oh,
It's those little
yes.
micro adjustments that are made time. It's I saw around way back in the day that really just kind of like gave me some of those light bulb moments. It was an open mat that we had, and it was around with Jordan Tony and Steel Paul way back.
Okay. Okay.
And just watching the chess match between the two of them, it was just like inch, back and forth. Okay, those are two back then, and that stage of the game, those were two of the highest level people that I had ever seen personally in the gym. Eyes,
Yeah,
grappling moment. Wow. It isn't these crazy like, scrambles where then you go to the fundamentals class and you hear like all over from white belts and blue
use
belts
more strength,
spazzing all over the place.
squeeze harder.
You're not seeing that sort of element. Like you're seeing a lot more like calculated precision in movements of then okay, well, there's finally enough space. All right, boom, that's when the windshield wiper hits. And that's like the one in that entire like 45 to minute sequence, that was the one fast movement of the entire thing, aside from just like, walking or creeping this, inchworming this.
Well, it's why it's a 5-minute round.
Right.
It's not meant to be this speedy sprint. I'm setting you up. As we interlock now, we're adjusting our angle. I'm inching, I'm spreading. However, that's happening. Yeah. It's those little increments. And for me to see teens that are already starting this it's exciting and it's
just
cool.
Understanding what some of those little adjustments were. One on offense to try to work on the attack, but then also what I felt was as equally impressive from each of these guys and their respective competitors that they went against in the last matches was the defense and the counters that they had, because it takes two to tango when you have those type of entertaining matchups.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's the thrill and the agony of competition that you have one person who's the A side, one person ends up the B side. That's just the nature of the game. But in order to have those prolific type of performances, you got to have the right dance partner.
Yes.
And in each of those sort of scenarios, the tandem that they brought to the cage was just something that was electric for the fans to be able to see. And for those of us who are a little bit more in tune with the actual X's and O's of things going on, that was like a nerd's to see some young guns being able to go out there and to have impressive performances in that fashion.
Absolutely.
Then got one more card to talk about. I know this is one that hits you a little bit in the feels, a little bit special. We have a matchup between a couple of young ladies who are going to be competing on the card. We have Charlize Balser taking on Layla Paprocki.
Yeah, man. Always happy to put on a platform for the ladies. Yeah, I've known Charlie forever. She is a sweetheart. She trains all the time. She's in tournaments. She's definitely the more active. And she's definitely grown a lot. I have seen her body grow. Her strength has grown. She definitely has that pulling guard, is strong. And she is wonderful at spreading out arms. So super excited. Layla, obviously my daughter. I'm so proud of her. Win, lose, draw. I think from my perspective, seeing camp and seeing training that has brought me so much growth, I'm watching it happen So whatever happens, man, like I know that they both are growing because they're both such good competitors that they're putting that strain on each other, and I love it. It's cool.
Perfect rundown for that matchup right there, folks. Now, as far as getting you with that itinerary for the weekend, we're going to be having weigh-ins on Friday. That's going to be September 26th. Okay, where are the specific details? It's going to be going down on the main stage.
Yep.
They have access to that if they get that full weekend pass, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. So again, guys, only $10 more than just the Saturday only pass. It's available on purplepass.com. The fighter that you want to see, the competitor has a promo code. So pop in their code, the sale will go towards them. You can then come to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Great weekend. It's going to have a lot of entertaining action all the way around. There's going to be food, there's going to be cold drinks out there. And it's something that you can kind of make a day out of, if you will. Make a whole weekend if you want, for that matter.
Absolutely.
In terms of the actual show, when are we cracking the doors? Or what is the details? What do people need to know so that they're there and they don't miss any of the action?
Yeah, so on Saturday, the actual convention opens at noon. So come in early. Our show starts at 5. The first walkout will be going on around 5:10-ish. We have music, we've got lights, we've got commentary, we've got cameras. It is a show. So come on out. 5 p.m. start time. Have some great matches going on.
Coming out, join us on September 27th. Make sure that you give us a follow along on Instagram at the CJJC Cage. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button on YouTube as well. All of your support for us here at the CJJC Cage helps us tremendously. We cannot do what we do without your support. So every like, share, support, engagement on social media, every one of you that comes out to the shows live, everyone who tunes into the streams, we thank you all so much for being a big part of what we do here. And we look forward to you rocking with us as we go through these shows here in the future. I'm Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside Kathryn Paprocki. This is the CJJC 27 Breakout, presented to you by X-Vapes.